Hello, everyone, and welcome to the winter broadcast of the 2018 HEDIS TV season. I'm here with CareNational CEO Steve Thornley.
Hello.
My name is David DiVito, Division Director here at CareNational. We're all very excited today. We have some outstanding special guests, subject matter experts, and Steve's excited. The HEDIS season is kicking in. We're all very busy, very active, but by no means does that mean there's not opportunity out there and lots of things for us to discuss today. So, Steve, you want to tell us who's with us?
Yes, I'd love to tell you who's with us. Of course, we have Kim Williams, who is basically, our recurring star on the show. She has an ongoing guest. What do you call it? Guest appearance?
Well, it's not a guest appearance now, and what I'm hearing is that others in the Hollywood circles are pursuing Kim for other jobs, so I think we have to kind of step up our game to keep her with CareNational and with HEDIS TV. Anyway,
yeah,
happy to have Kim here.
We have Kim, and then we have Janet Stieg. Am I pronouncing that right, Janet?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Well, why don't we do quick introductions? Janet, since you're the newbie on the show, why don't you give us your 60-second elevator pitch here?
Sure. I'm a registered nurse, and I have a background in emergency medicine, and I have a master's degree in health administration, and I've been doing HEDIS and quality audits for the past 15 years, and I now own my own company, and it's called the J. Morris Group, and we do HEDIS audits, data collection, we do audits for ACOs, Medicaid restructuring audits, those types of things.
Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure having you on, and we're looking forward to kind of giving you some good questions to help our audience learn from your wisdom. Kim, do you want to give us your 30 seconds here?
Oh, Janet got 60 and I get 30. I see.
Well, she's new.
When you return. I am a CPHQ. I've been involved in the world of HEDIS for going on 11 years.
Good.
I have done pay for performance and a lot of GPRO, a lot of record auditing. So, and also proudly a HEDIS consultant for CareNational.
Yes, we've appreciated her expertise as we've ramped up for the season. And I kind of want to start with a little general discussion on that. We started really back in like August, starting work on the 2018 season, because in our business, which is the recruiting side of HEDIS and quality management, good candidates, the good abstractors and overeaters, and even some of the other positions, those start to fill up and they start to get secured by an agreement. So. But we've had a lot of activity on our side. It's almost changing. Wouldn't you say daily?
It's absolutely daily.
Hourly almost.
Yep.
Dave's team. Do you want to tell just a little bit about what your team does really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. I am the division director of the Allied and Admin division, so we really are focusing mainly on positions that are that really don't require nursing licensure, for lack of a better way to describe it. So we're working a lot with the medical assistants that are assisting those people that are actually doing the actual chart abstraction, the nurses. We're also doing a lot of medical records positions and things of that nature. So for me, Steve, to your point, it was really a planning, really very early on, making sure that we had reached out to people that had experience in the past or that had worked for us in the past. Also, it's critical really to get those feelers out there and start recruiting people early, because obviously there's a lot of different agencies that are looking to do this. So we want to really differentiate ourselves by getting an early start and finding that really top-level talent early. And I got to be honest, so we found all the talent, got them submitted, and then it becomes a waiting game, as you know. You're waiting for those hiring managers really to get the green light to start pulling the trigger on interviews and offers. And I was getting a little nervous there for a little bit because I wasn't seeing quite the level of activity, and then all of a sudden, to your point, everything changed, and all of a sudden the offers are rolling in, and fortunately I'm on the phone really all day long right now with people and going through offers and scheduling interviews and really getting everything ramped up. So it's been highly successful. I'm incredibly proud of our team and really everyone at CareNational. And Kim, of course, you were a huge part of that from an education standpoint. Really, we thought we were knowledgeable, and I think we were, but now it's a much higher level of knowledge, and everyone's very comfortable in speaking to those professionals out there that are looking for HEDIS opportunities. So, Steve, happy to be where we're at, but again, by no means does that mean that we're not done. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and we're going to focus on that a little bit today.
Sure. So each previous show that we've had, we've kind of been notching up towards the start of the season. And I just want to throw it out to Janet and Kim. Janet, we'll start with you. Where are you at right now in preparation? I assume you have your team already filled up that you're going to use for the upcoming season, and kind of where are things at with your project preparation?
Sure, we do have our team ready, and we sort of changed our workflow and our process over the years. And you were speaking earlier about the non-clinical staff or the non-nursing staff, and I tend to now hire more non-nursing staff for out in the field, and because we do also the collection, and then we do the review and the overread. So it just depends on the clients. Sometimes we'll just do the overread, sometimes we'll do both, and sometimes we'll do all of it.
Okay, awesome. So what's next for you? I know we talked a little bit offline before the show that you were starting to, I guess, get prepared for training. Is that kind of the next big hurdle?
Yes, we're getting ready for our training. I like to do the training, it depends on the client, but about 2 weeks before the project starts. Because if I do it much before, I find that people will forget the sort of the ins and outs of the measures. And so depending on the clients, and it's a rolling start when you get the data.
So Kim, over to you. What's going on in your world as far as your preparations?
In my role as project manager for HEDIS team, I have a staff of 16. They're all hired and very eager to get going. I'm in the final development of my training this year. I'm getting it prepared. My staff will start on the second day of January, and we have about 2.5 weeks of training, and then we go straight from training into our data. Couldn't agree with Janet more. I think that if you train too far in advance, and then of course you have Christmas and the New Year, then people have a tendency to forget a little bit. So I like the idea of having my staff training and then starting all at the same time.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we have a lot of questions to talk about. Fortunately, the folks out there that are tuning in have given us a lot of good questions. And when we come back, we're going to talk about, you've already got your HEDIS position, you're locked in, and now what? What can you do to be successful? So we'll talk about that when we get back from this quick break.
Hello there. It's been a great year here at CareNational, finding healthcare organizations some fantastic employees.
And changing people's lives. And creating great partnerships.
Opening 2 new staffing divisions.
But that doesn't mean we don't have time to wish you all happy holidays.
From the CareNational team to you, happy holidays!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the commercials and all the wonderful sponsors of HEDIS TV and their advertisements, or possibly not. So, just wanted to come back. So, Steve, we're back.
We're back.
We have our special guest with us. Again, thank you, ladies, both. I'm very excited to have you here. We're going to talk now about what happens next. So, you've possibly accepted an offer. We're going to talk about that situation, and also maybe if you're still looking for an opportunity and how we approach that, and Steve's got some insight to that.
Yeah, so I'm going to toss this over to Kim Williams. Kim, now that we're going to talk about this a couple different ways, but somebody's accepted their job, they've signed on the dotted line, now what should they be concerned about so that they can be as successful as possible on their HEDIS assignment?
I I think one of the best things that they can do, Steve, is start to brush up on the measures, look at some of the changes that have happened, which aren't major, but there are some changes. My team, I give them a certain set of measures. Most of my team members have 3 measures that they focus on. It's also making sure, especially with the remote HEDIS positions, that you have your workspace is set up. You have everything that you need in your office area. And you can also run tests on your home internet connection. Make sure that that your Wi-Fi speed is up to par, because the last thing a remote HEDIS worker needs is a problem with their internet, whether that's receiving their workflow or sending their workflow. It can cause a major problem. But there are some programs that people can try, and it's free. It's no cost to them, where they just run a test on how their Wi-Fi is bringing in data and sending out data.
Yeah, and we'll put that website up on the screen.
It's a great tool.
So can refer to that.
Yep, it's a great tool. You need to make sure that you have that privacy. I realize in today's day and age, we don't print out a lot of material at all. But there still is a lot of people working from home, still have family at home. And if you have, PHI up on your computer and you're working, you need to make sure that either your door is shut, your monitor's turned a certain way, or that your family members understand that they need to knock before they come in. There's times that you need to make sure that your screen is closed and that patient's information isn't up where other people can see it.
Great. And Janet, are most of your nurses working remotely too?
Yes, most of them work remote. We do have offices in New York City that we use, and sometimes the staff will go in there, and it's often they go in there is when we have internet issues and they don't have the right connection, because depending on the client, it depends on the software that they're using and what HEDIS certified software programs and how the data comes in and how the data goes out. Okay. So it can cause days of delays.
Okay. And do you have any other things to offer as far as tips in your experience that'll help people at this stage to get ready?
No, I agree with Kim. It's reviewing the measures, and the measures seem none of this is rocket science, and they seem relatively simple, but the measures are black and white, and they're very specific, and it's one of the most difficult, I think the difficult aspects of the HEDIS job is that it's monotonous, and you do the same thing day after day after day, and you really have to pay attention to what you're doing and understand the measures and exactly what you're looking for. HIV retinopathy is not the same as diabetic retinopathy, those sorts of things.
All right. We're going to take another quick break and come back. We'll have some questions from our viewers, and some of them are really good, and I wanted to give that sufficient time, so we'll be right back after this message. Hi, this is Steve Thornley, CEO of CareNational. So you're looking for HEDIS work. What do you do next? There are several things that you can do to prepare and to apply for HEDIS work with CareNational. First thing you want to do is go to our HEDISwork.com page. When you get to HEDISwork.com, you're going to have a couple of different resources. First of all, there's a resume sample there that you can use to build up your HEDIS resume. There's also a button there that you can click that will automatically filter all of our HEDIS positions, and you can go right there and apply for the positions through that link. In addition, there is a submit resume button where you can just upload your resume right there. It'll get to a HEDIS professional recruiter for your area, and they will contact you about openings in that area. Working for CareNational couldn't be easier. We make the process simple. We provide some of the best assignments for the length of the HEDIS season, and we cover every position from HEDIS project manager down to provider schedulers. and everything in between. If you have any questions about HEDIS or HEDIS work, feel free to email me at steve@carenational.com. And again, go to hediswork.com for all the information you need about applying for a HEDIS project. Thank you so much. We hope we can work together, and we hope you have a great HEDIS 2018 season. Take care.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Steve, that was an interesting commercial break. What were your thoughts there?
I definitely am going to support that sponsor.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that the move to not take Bitcoin on as a sponsor, because clearly they're going nowhere, so I think that was a good choice.
Right. Yeah, that whole Bitcoin thing just was a total disaster.
Not taken off at all.
Total nightmare.
No.
So.
But we are back, and we're definitely pleased to have everyone with us, and those of you out there that are watching. All joking aside, obviously very serious stuff here and very exciting stuff. This is the time that I look forward to all year. It is HEDIS season coming up, and we're just preparing for that. So we left off talking about what you can do out there to actually prepare. So what if you already have an offer, Steve, and that offer is kind of in progress? Is that...
Well, that's what we just talked about. We want to talk about if people don't have an offer, that people are still looking.
Right. Well, that's the most important thing from my standpoint.
Right. So again, we'll throw it back to Kim and Janet. Janet, why don't we start with you? What would you advise somebody that's still trying to pursue that position for HEDIS?
Well, I hire a lot of people through agencies, and I have sort of set agencies that I go to, and looking at specific agencies that focus on HEDIS is a good place for people to start. Also, to go directly to health plans and see what positions they have available, because you may be able to start at, say, a collection level or some lower level, not the review level, and work your way up. It just depends.
All right, and of course, we'll have to tell you about our 4 hours free offer, so that maybe you can give us a try for your HEDIS people this year or next year.
Which actually brings up a great point, I think, though, that a lot of people think that you have to have previous HEDIS experience to be a part of it. And as we've found, that there's a lot of positions that can actually get you involved in HEDIS for the first season, and then obviously move up and maybe deeper into that process as you learn more and as your licensure changes, et cetera, different things. But you don't have to have previous experience in certain cases to be in HEDIS. And we've had a lot of success in placing people and getting them that first initial taste with their first initial season here for 2018. And again, we did the same last year and the year before.
Yeah, and I know, Kim, you mentioned that people should be actively looking for an agency or looking for a direct employer that is still recruiting. And what suggestions, Kim, would you offer to those people that are maybe just starting right now to look for a position?
Steve, one of the best tools that I think I've seen is you have a resume template. I think that a lot of people don't update their resume with some of the experience that they have. I think that if you want to get your foot in the door and you're not a clinical person, that some of the opportunities that are available, if your resume shows that you've worked in a physician's office or you've worked in a healthcare setting, you've done a lot of work with patient records, you know what a release of information is, just make sure that your resume really reflects everything that you've done. Look at some of the examples of what a resume looks like to apply for a HEDIS position. Get some of the job boards, get on there and look and see what's available. Create an alert that comes to your email for remote HEDIS or even on-site HEDIS positions, because people are still actively pursuing HEDIS employees.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw in a quick plug for CareNational. If you go to our HEDIS website, which is hediswork.com, you're going to find a resume example there. You're going to find a a little search engine there to bring up all of our HEDIS-related opportunities. You're going to be able to submit your resume right there. And I think what happens is people go on sites like Indeed.com to search, Dave, and what they don't do is they don't update their resume that has maybe been on there for a while, and they just start applying for jobs. And I know I get resumes all the time of people that may or may not have the HEDIS experience. You know, sometimes it's not displayed on their resume, so I have to reply back to them and say, you know, please, you know, detail your HEDIS experience and add it to your resume. Has that happened with you as well?
I can definitely speak to that for my team. And Kim, your point I think is very valid in that a lot of people out there are just not putting key skills that they have or experience that they have. I've seen it where a lot of people have actual HEDIS experience, and maybe because it was a temp thing that they didn't put it on their resume at all.
Right.
And so we make the call to them based on maybe they have a medical records background or something else that has attracted us to at least give them a call and reach out. But when we reach out and talk to them, oh, by the way, I have HEDIS experience. I hear that all the time. Or they're not, to Kim's point, they're not singling out some of those key skills that would apply if they don't have the HEDIS experience. So if your resume is not up to date, number one, do that, but really dig a little bit deeper in putting some key skills or job descriptions that you've had in the past that might apply. And I see that really a lot with the medical records people, where they haven't really done a good job of describing what their background is. And for a hiring manager or for a staffing agency, we're going through literally hundreds and thousands of resumes. So if we don't see what we want within the first 30 seconds to a minute, sometimes you may get overlooked. And I hate to say that, but hiring managers are very busy and they're not spending too much time unless they see what they're looking for. So make sure that you've highlighted everything you can in your background. And I think out of that, good results will happen.
And I might add to that and see if you guys agree, but if you're somebody that has not done HEDIS previously, you want to emphasize all of your exposure to, say, medical record review. If you worked in a physician's office, if you worked in a hospital, anything that has to do with chart review. I know sometimes we get people that have done, like nurses that have done utilization review or concurrent review, and obviously they've had experience diving into medical charts. What would you say, I'm going to ask this of both of you, we'll start with Janet. Janet, what would you say is the most, if somebody doesn't have HEDIS experience, what's kind of the next best type of background that you would recommend for people that want to get into the field?
And we haven't really brought this up to this point, but people's technical skills and their ability to manipulate computers, understand different forms of data input. And I've had nurses that had good HEDIS skills, but they had bad technical skills, and it became so cost prohibitive because they just couldn't pick up on, from a remote aspect, working remotely, and the technical aspect. So I would move that high up in my resume, that I'm computer illiterate, that I understand Excel spreadsheets, that I know about SFTPs or FTPs or different data transfer protocols. I've worked with different software programs, those sorts of things. That's important to me. And I look for those kinds of things.
Yeah, and
great point.
And we also, as part of our rigorous screening process, we do test all of our HEDIS applicants on basic Windows, basic Outlook, basic Excel, typing speed, those types of things. Obviously, they're not going to be very effective if they are one of the people that kind of hunt and peck for their typing. That just doesn't generally keep up the pace. Fantastic. Anything else you guys want to throw in? Kim, I guess I should throw that same question back to you. What do you think is a good background?
You know that somebody has been in the world of HEDIS when they bring up technical issues. I could not agree with Janet more. When I send a HEDIS remote employee an MRR on an Excel spreadsheet, and they need to sort and filter for a specific data element, and it's a 30-minute tutorial on Excel data. It is probably the most time-consuming, just like Janet said, cost-prohibitive. It's frustrating for me as well as it's frustrating for the person on the other end. I like people that have had a lot of experience in different EHR, EMR systems. They know how to navigate around. They know where to find the important elements of that chart that they're looking for. That's high too. But I can't stress enough the computer skills, the technical skills, they are huge.
Perfect.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to stress that I've been hiring and have hired new graduates, and new graduates tend to look at this and say, oh, this is not for me, or I haven't done this, or I don't have the experience. And one thing new graduates forget is that they just got out of school. They were reading books, they were taking tests, they were going through charts, and their attention to detail oftentimes is very good. And the new grads that I've hired have worked out really well. So I would definitely put the word out there. If you're a new graduate, apply for HEDIS positions and tell me what's really good about you, and that you can take a computer apart or whatever. That because your technical skills, like we had just discussed, that I will hire you over somebody with some specific HEDIS experience.
Okay, that's good to know, and that's very encouraging for people that oftentimes are turned down because maybe an HR recruiter is looking very, very narrowly at their background, and it is a challenge. I know in our world, we're kind of at the beck and call of our clients, and sometimes they say, absolutely, you cannot send me anybody unless they've got 1 season or 2 seasons of HEDIS experience. So obviously people with that experience are, getting some of the better assignments, and that's just, kind of how it's been. However, we are working on our own training program, and Kim, maybe you can just take a minute to kind of talk about that. And I know there's still some mechanics that we're putting into place as far as those webinars, but what are we going to be looking at as far as content for people to come in that haven't had experience?
I think that what is missing in the world of HEDIS is you cannot be trained in HEDIS until you have a position. I think that it would be a phenomenal resource to allow people who are interested in getting their foot in the door to pre-train before they apply for positions. I think looking at core measures, abstraction, making people have the tools to be successful in HEDIS, because like I said, if you have no HEDIS, it's like a credit. My daughter struggled with credit. How do you get credit if you've never had credit? When you apply for credit and you don't have a low credit rating, they don't want to give you credit because you don't have credit. It is the same thing. You are not trained in HEDIS when you're in nursing school. There's nothing in when they are applying and obtaining their clinical degree. I have the highest respect for them. But there's no training in HEDIS when you're becoming an RN or an LPN. It's something that you learn after the fact. If you give me someone who has a great desire to learn, who's hungry for knowledge, who has a good background, I can train them. They can be trained in HEDIS. Some of the best abstractors I've ever seen in my life, they started on a fluke. They had never heard of HEDIS. It was a great remote possibility position for them, and somebody took the time to train them. So training is key to people being successful in this field. I think the core measures and abstraction are the two definite platforms for beginning training.
Okay, awesome. We got to go to another quick break. This will be our last break, and then we're going to come back with the Q&A from the questions that we've received via the internet, Dave. And so we'll be right back after this.
This is Steve Thornley, CEO of CareNational. Beautiful day here on my Lime bike in Scottsdale, Arizona. Just looking for some people that might know about some jobs. You gotta be careful when you're on these bikes. Whoa! Oh, wow, that hurts.
This is David DiVito, and I think I just got promoted at Care National, so I'm very excited about that. Steve, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Guess not.
So I happened to come upon these people, of course, and they happen to know some things about some jobs because they also work for Care National. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is David DiVito, Allied and Admin Division Director.
What's your sign, Dave?
I'm a Capricorn.
Sweet, Capricorn, all the way. How about you? What's your name?
My name's Kati Bryer, and I'm a recruiter for Admin and Allies.
And your sign?
I'm a crazy Gemini.
Whoa! Okay, well, we'll try and keep things tempered here just a little bit.
A lot.
We're out here on a nice sunny day here in Scottsdale. A little partly cloudy. Chance of snow, 0%. We've got some jobs that we'd like to focus on this afternoon in our Admin and Allied division. So, Dave, why don't you go ahead and tell me what's exciting and new, and we'll get Kati's take here in a minute, too.
Yeah, so the HEDIS season is definitely heating up. We're getting deeper into it, but it's important, I think, Steve, that if people haven't found a spot in the HEDIS season yet and are interested, there's still a lot of activity going on, so it's certainly not too late. And, Katie, you want to talk about a couple of the opportunities that we have going on right now?
Yeah, definitely. We have a few HEDIS medical records specialist positions opened up right now. Basically, within this position, you'll be working within the HEDIS team to collect member records and also contact providers and to schedule appointments for those HEDIS abstractions. We are looking for someone that has previous HEDIS experience, but it's not required. We are looking for someone also that has extensive experience working with medical records and EMR systems.
That's fantastic. So if they want to get into HEDIS, they can through this position if they have the proper medical training.
Correct.
As a medical assistant or medical records tech?
Just any medical management background. You don't have to be a medical assistant. You can work in medical records or an admin assistant as well.
Okay, super. What else is going on, Dave?
Well, those cities, the jobs are actually there. It's in multiple cities, so it's not just in one area. So currently, we're working on Nashville, working on Louisville, Albany, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, and Sacramento, California. The same position. And again, to Katie's point, really what we're looking for is someone that has medical records experience, but also has that personality that likes to reach out and talk to people, can make friends with those offices, and build some relationships. Because a lot of what they're doing is scheduling for the medical assistants, the nurses, to go out into those offices and do the actual abstraction work themselves. So this is going to kind of be that liaison, if you will, that makes that first contact. So you got to be friendly, you got to like to talk, and you got to like to talk HEDIS.
Fantastic. And can you tell our viewers how, if they're interested in these types of positions, what do they do next?
They're going to go to HEDIS.com.
HEDISwork.com.
HEDISwork.com to make sure it's clear. And once you apply on there, your resume will go directly to us. You can also always reach out to Care National directly. I think they are sending it to the main line.
Yes, we have a HEDIS hotline, which is 1-800-974-4828, and then press option 5. Can you do that, Katie, with me? Option 5. Of course, we'll put the number here on the screen. Don't add them all. If you're some math genius, don't add them all together. Option 5, that'll get you to any one of our representatives at Care National that works in the HEDIS area. Suffice it to say that they need us for HEDIS, right, Dave?
We need us for HEDIS, and they need us for HEDIS, yeah.
Right. So we're the nation's #1 resource for these types of positions. And again, if you don't have experience in HEDIS and you're in a medical assistant, medical records, or some sort of medical capacity that's administrative in nature, call us or go to our HEDISwork.com page. If you are looking for HEDIS staff, that's when they really need us, right?
Absolutely.
For HEDIS. Then go to our HEDISstaff.com page, because we have all sorts of people that are available to you to chase records, to abstract records, to overread records, or to manage the entire project.
You need us for HEDIS!
Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
We're back again. Welcome back, everybody. We are coming back in. We're going to have a couple questions. Thankfully, we've had a lot of participation out there, and clearly people have a lot to say and a lot that they want to know about. Steve, do you want to get started with some of our questions from the field?
Yeah. I'm going to go to the first question is from Stephanie, Stephanie actually works for a health plan, or she's based out of Kansas. And Janet, I'm going to point this question over to you. Her question is very specific about a certain measurement. If the PCP OBGYN specifically documents in medical record that a patient had a hysterectomy at age 30 due to cervical cancer, is that an exclusion?
So we can answer it from a cervical cancer standpoint. It has to show that it was a total hysterectomy. It doesn't matter what age, and it has to show that there was no residual cervix to make them an exclusion.
Okay.
Just a plain hysterectomy doesn't do it, because you may still have a cervix.
Gotcha. We need to insert this part right now. If you provide us a question at facebook.com/carenational or Twitter or what's that other one? The MyFace space?
We're on basically every platform possible, but you're going to see we're going to answer it anyway, aren't we?
We are going to answer it, but you're going to get yourself a free HEDIS Geek bumper sticker, which is a must-have for pretty much anyone.
It is really on the hot list of everyone for Christmas right now, so you have an opportunity to get one free.
Stuffers.
I know that at Thanksgiving that people rushing Target and Walmart were looking for this guy right here.
And I might get fired for saying this, but if you ask a question right now, I'll give you 3 of these stickers because you've got coworkers, right?
You can't even make a complete sentence because you're in awe of being in the presence of such a fantastic gift.
The T-shirts are going to be next, I think. That's the next greatest thing.
Geek. Kim, I know you have one of these or many of these already.
I do.
Yeah. All right. Time is a little bit limited, so let me get to the questions. From Veronica. Veronica is coming to us from, well, we're not sure because she didn't put where she's from, but she asked a great question. Why is HEDIS a seasonal project and not a year-round event? I think I have a good idea, but Kim, do you want to comment on that?
It actually is a year-round event.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
The season of data collection and abstraction is a limited season. Health plans, and Janet can attest to this, there are deeper dives. We're always working on roadmap where there's always something HEDIS going on. The hiring period, the period where those contract and remote workers are enforced for HEDIS is during January. This year it's a little bit shorter period to the middle of May. But believe me, there is HEDIS year-round.
Okay. Awesome.
And there's a lot of career opportunities that go along with that year-round activity. So people that get into HEDIS, learn it, develop into it, obviously can be doing that in some function year-round, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, we had a question from Inda, and Inda asked, what is the best career path through HEDIS for a year-round position? And I would say it'd be starting as a seasonal employee. Wouldn't you agree to that, both of you guys?
For sure.
Okay. All right, Janet, your turn. Can you review acceptable documentation for the MA measure? What would be acceptable documentation for the MA measure?
Acceptable. Kim, do you want to take that?
What's
the MA measure?
Measure. I've never heard of the MA measure.
I'm like, maybe it's a new measure. I don't know it.
They're probably saying IMA.
IMA. Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. Do you know?
Do I know? Let me take that.
IMA. We're talking about immunization. They would have to have documentation of their current immunization. And let's see, this is also what we've discussed before. Last year, they moved the HPV measure into the IMA measure, with compliance being 3 of the HPVs. This year, they have reduced compliance to 2 HPVs. So the series is 2 shots instead of 3.
Very informative. Thank you. We appreciate the questions. Keep them coming on in, and if we can't get to them, which we're kind of running out of time today, we'll get to them on our next broadcast, which we should probably talk about really quickly. Our next broadcast is in January, and I'm going to have to go to my video producer here to remind me what day that is. RJ? While he's looking that up, we're a little unprepared for that question. No, we appreciate the questions, and they're very helpful. We're excited to get started in the season. I know what happens in our business is basically right after the Christmas weekend, that week between Christmas and New Year's, we're going to get flooded with a lot of calls because now companies are in panic mode. They're going to need people. That happens to us almost every year. We get kind of slammed that end. So if you are still looking for your position, okay, thank you.
How do they apply if they're interested, Steve?
How do they apply if they're interested in?
If someone's interested in HEDIS and they want to contact us, the best way to contact us is
HEDISwork, HEDISwork.com. Or they can call.
It's right on the screen right there.
we have a HEDIS hotline.
It's right here.
That they can call. We have a HEDIS hotline they can call, which is 1-800-974-4828. What option is that, Dave?
Number 5.
Number 5. You're supposed to put your
hand. Oh yeah,
in.
5.
Number 5. And that'll get you to one of our crack HEDIS recruiters. Don't panic. If you haven't found a position yet, don't panic. There's most likely something still available.
You have a great point, though, because there's going to be a lot of activity even after the holidays. And quite honestly, I think a lot of people, it slows down a little bit right now, maybe because we're getting into the holidays, but there's still tons of activity both pre and post Christmas and into the new year. And even after the actual assignments start and the work starts, there's always those incremental fall-offs, and people are added on and falling off. So there's always still activity out there. So it's truly never too late. And I think we had some great points brought up, today about how to get into it and really ways to kind of highlight things on your resume. And ultimately, by getting into HEDIS and having that experience, what that can lead to career-wise for everybody out there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely some good points made today. And Janet, thank you for joining us. And hopefully we can get you back on another show. And Kim, as always, thank you. Okay.
They're speechless.
You're welcome.
By the way, Janet, January 12th, which incidentally is my wife's birthday, January 12th will be our next broadcast, and we will be, that'll probably be the last real build-up to the actual HEDIS season. So we're going to try and get as many things accomplished in that show as possible. Send in your questions. We'll have some other topics to discuss. And until then, Dave.
They need us.
They need us for HEDIS. That wasn't really where I was going with that.
I like it, though. It rhymes and it works.
Anyway, get your HEDIS bumper sticker. Email us, call us, let us know how we can help you. And we appreciate you joining us today for another edition of HEDIS TV, and we'll be back on January 12th for our next show.
Yeah, thank you, Janet and Kim.
Thank you.